crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. Every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money with Bitcoin and digital assets. I'm your host, DZ, and we got a very special show today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got to talk about the new mortgage rules that are changing everything you know about crypto. We're going to talk about why the heck did Say Pump, why the heck did Pi Pump, and we're going to talk about some major assets being listed on Coinbase. They are wrapping two of the top 20 altcoins right now. So I'll tell you what those two altcoins. We're going to look at Bitcoin. It is pumping as we speak. It's going to be a very special DZ episode. So everybody get in, smash those likes. I'm going to be reading your comments and pulling in a whole bunch because it's just me today. So looking at Bitcoin, look at that price pump there. You can see major moves that started. This is only about 15 minutes ago, maybe 20. And we'll measure Bitcoin. Nice little, almost $1,000 pump in 13 minutes. If we draw it all the way back here, pretty close to $1,000. This thing is pumping harder than the Liver King as he's trying to hunt down Joe Rogan. So let's get it going, everybody. Smash that like. So Bitcoin is moving up. Let's zoom out a little. Let's go to the 1 hour. And you can see, oh, okay, maybe this just, turning around after a little bit of a steep correction there. Bitcoin's decided to fall in the wee hours of this morning. Looked like it lost about $1,500 from about 10 hours ago. So now we're seeing a nice little recovery here, but we're still going to be watching how this plays out. You know, we are losing some of the RSI. We did print some bearish divergences on the 1 hour. You can see the highs are creating higher highs. But if you go right here to the relative strength index on Bitcoin, it is creating lower highs. And this is typically a pretty bearish signal. But we can, in the face of this, reset the RSI. Maybe that's what's happening right here. So we'll be paying attention to this. One of the ways you can determine that is go to the smaller time frames and see what we're doing. So yeah, RSI is already reset down to the bottom on the 25-minute and not quite on the 30. So something to pay attention to, folks, especially if you have your trades open. And we do got a trade open. I closed half right. Oh my God, I knew it was going to turn around. I closed half right before he went live, and I'm about to just close the entire thing. We were up over 100%. I wanted to leave part of it open. We closed about 60%, and we're gonna let it ride for the disco, fam. You thought I was gonna market close that, and if you don't know what we're doing, we throw down $50 on a 50x every now and then. Now let's look at the rest of the crypto market. We're letting it ride, baby. We're letting it ride. Smash that like. And then we'll jump into some comments here. Bitcoin down 0.2%. ETH is up 1% here. XRP with a little bit of a pullback. It has shred 3% of its gains. Cardano also has shred 3% of its gains. We're seeing nice little pumps on some of these oversold altcoins. Hype climbing, trying to dethrone Cardano, knock it out of the top 10 if you remove Lido staked Ether there. Bitcoin Cash still pumping today. We don't know why. SWI is down and Chainlink is flat. Now let's look at the big movers and shakers in the markets. We got Bitcoin Cash is the biggest gainer. That should change sometime, maybe the next 2, 3, 4 hours. I don't see that sustaining. And we go to losers, Pi Network. So we'll break down why the frick did Pi pump, and we're going to break down why Say pumped. We're going to do that later on in the show. Now let's get into the show. BitConnect. That is a old crypto reference right there. So it was like 2016. Volatile. Things are volatile, and we're going to make it all back if anything is in the downside here, baby. Short squeeze. So some people seeing some short squeezes here. And DCA said, what is this? A pump for ants? If you stretch that y-axis large enough, every pump is a mega pump, folks. All right, DZ, my boy, you are the truth, funny as heck, and informative. Well, that's all I'm trying to do here. We're trying to give you a little bit of information with a little bit of fun on the side as well. All right, let's get into the title of the stream. Ethereum death cross. What does this mean for ETH holders? What does this mean for your altcoins? And what the heck happened in 2022, the last time we saw a death cross? Because I think in crypto, one of the best ways to determine what the heck is happening around the bend, around the horizon, around that hill is look at the past sometimes. Bitcoin, has a 4-year cycle. Liquidity, kind of has its own cycles. Global liquidity, and government's printing money. It goes on all cycle. So you can kind of read the tea leaves sometimes. And if you squint, you can kind of determine what's going to happen. Now, it might not be precision. It might not be, all right, this is the exact day and I can predict it 500 days in the past because of the Bitcoin halving, but you can be directionally accurate. And being directionally accurate in crypto can change your life because there's mega gains to be had if you position yourself correctly. So let's go ahead and get into ETH so we can all position ourselves correctly. Ethereum death cross flashes for the first time. What's wrong with me? You see, you put DZ here on the show alone, and I start going off the rails. Flashes a death cross for the first time since 2022. So the 2-week chart, so we're looking at the 2-week candles here, signals a bearish crossover. This resembles the 2022 setup that preceded a 40% decline in the price of Ether. Now, my EMAs came up with a little bit slightly different than their EMAs. If you go to TradingView, different EMAs, it's an exponential moving average. They may weigh recent timeframes with the longer ago timeframes differently. So you might see slight fluctuations. So we'll look at my charts and we'll look at these charts as well. So ETH has printed its first 2-week death cross, historically linked to a 40% price drop. Now, the bearish crossover occurred as ETH's 20-period exponential moving average, the 22-week EMA is the red wave, slipped below the 50-period EMA, aka the 52-week EMA. In mid-22, a similar crossover preceded a 40% decline in ETH's price. Now, if you look, there's the golden cross, and there is your bearish cross right there. I am going to take a little bit of contention with this one. Now, it's a little bit hard to see here, but you can see the death crosses right here. They are measuring from the top of this very long 2-week candle. I think it's a little bit more fair to measure from the bottom of this 2-week candle. Just gives you a little bit more of a less sensationalist headline, and we're not trying to be sensationalist here. We leave that for the thumbnails. The lead up to the ETH's death cross closely resembled the 22 setup. Strong local top, followed by multi-month consolidation phase, then a slow breakdown marked by lower highs. And so you can see right here, strong local top, boom, right there, followed by multi-month consolidation. That's right, what you see right here, and then a slow breakdown marked by the local highs. So let's go into the charts, I think, and then we'll get back into the article here. So this is what I found when I was doing my research, folks. So these are the 2-week candles. We are on Heikinashi, so maybe we were supposed to go to maybe go to the regular candles. That might make it a little bit cleaner. And now we can see, all right, so there is the bearish crossover. Remember on that article, it came from the top. They came from the top rope. We're coming from the bottom rope. And so I might even be a little bit high there. So when you measure from the bottom of the candle, you get a significantly different price. You're getting a 16% drawdown versus the larger 40% drawdown you see right there. So there's still a drawdown, but there's a huge fluctuation of where you measure from this red candle. And so if you look at, oh my God, I should have sold everything at this death cross. You sold at the top. Hey, congrats. If you sold at this Pico bottom, we're not even getting into the wick. I mean, that means it was here for an extended period. If you sold at the bottom of the candle, what you end up really missing out on? There is a slight chance you bought back in and you got in at 17% lower. But in my experience in crypto, there is a higher chance you missed the train left the station, and then you were just kind of sitting there like Leo DiCaprio and Catch Me If You Can. You're kind of lost. You don't know what to do. You're sitting here and you're like, God, I had some ETH, and now I feel like FOMO, and now I feel like buying higher. And then you probably buy at a local top, and then it dumps, and then maybe you even sell, then you're even lower where you were when you started. And so in my opinion, and you can feel free to disagree, I think you're better off just hodling. Now, maybe if you catch the very top, sure, you did great. But if you're down here, you're looking at maybe losing 17%, but then you're going to miss out on the mega pump. It ended up pumping. If you jumped in here, 287%. So we're talking about close to a 4x, 3.8x, 3.9 if you round to the upside there. So the opportunity cost to me was massive. And so to me, this isn't so much a sell signal. It's a brace yourself for impact, brace yourself mentally. Don't get fatigued. Don't get ETH fatigue. Don't get alt fatigue, because this is the period where you should be holding on with your diamond hands. It's a different story when we're at local tops. It's a different story when we're looking at golden crosses. But when you're looking at a death cross, maybe it isn't time to sell. Now let's go to the current period here. You can see, we're in a little bit of local low. We had a lower low preceding this, just like we had a lower low preceding this. And so this could be the spring, the coil that ETH is waiting before it begins its upside. And dang it, man, I feel like buying more ETH when I just did that little analysis there. So that's why you come to this channel, smash that like. We got all the detailed analysis. I'm almost thinking about going scorched earth on some of these other influencers, but I don't know if you guys want to see that. Maybe we just need to just stick to the facts, stick to the figures, and let's all just try to get rich together. I don't need to get into the mud here. All right, let's go to the chat here a little bit. Bots in the chats are showing their bag. Are they bots? Are they AI agents? Are they people like you and me just wanting to shill their bag? Bitcoin hit the golden cross for the first time ever. We would need more details on that because there's different time frames. You can do it on weekly charts, monthly charts. You could do 20-week crosses 50-week. You do 21-week crosses 50-week. You could do, let's see, I've seen 50 cross the 200. So there's different levels. You could do a golden cross or a death cross. All right, mega pump. That's what okay, hit me with the Michael Karn there, deep reference. Guys, if you want to learn about DeFi, make money, check out DeFi Crypto airdrops. Yeah, that guy's got a lot of good stuff there. ADA, not a chance of hitting $8. Market cap too high. Should hit 3 to 4. If that, I doubt it. Still leaning towards that $5 range. All right, let's get into, is this the time to sell your ETH? Well, look at Martini guy's post here. The bullish money, the big money, the transfers, they're pouring into Ethereum. ETH is actually outpacing Solana big time. And we got the details. These are top bridge net flows last 24 hours. So this is a small window. And so we're going to go ahead and throw out the disclaimer. Small window, small time frame. We're not looking at the last month. We're not looking at the last 2 weeks, but the last 24 hours, ETH is crushing it, even as L2. So it looks like a lot of people transferring from base into ETH. And so, you know, basically just swapping some ETH. And I know ETH to base is pretty cheap, and I imagine base to ETH is pretty cheap as well. So ETH pulling in a lot of funds, Tron pulling in a lot of funds, and shout out to Avalanche and Polygon. I think that's people just going to Poly Market trying to get those bets in. They're degens. They're degens like me. And speaking of being a degen, all right, we're still riding high on our fart. That sounds weird. That sounds real weird. It's like when you're in the car and you're cupping it, you know, you're cupping it to your face like a dying man of thirst in the desert who found an oasis. But yeah, we're getting high on the fart profits there. So we're going to maybe leave that for the whole stream, man. Let's have a little fun with it. If I lose, I've already taken profits on 60. You know, if we lose, we lose. It ain't no big deal. All right, Tech Dev here. Pretty interesting chart talking about alt season. This is the most contracted alt season we've ever seen. Altcoin compression is at a record high. Expansion will be unlike anything the market has seen. I would say look at this chart similarly to how you look at Bollinger Bands. If you don't know what Bollinger Bands, it's when you're in class and you pull one back and you snap your buddy. Now, Bollinger Band is basically kind of like a spring for crypto prices. So as prices get contracted, meaning not a bunch of up and down swings, things barely move. The longer this Bollinger Band, the longer this altcoin compression happens, the harder you squeeze a spring together, the more it's going to explode. So more compression means more upside, or I dare say potentially downside. So, but we're all thinking upside here. Now, speaking of upside, we did a big breakdown on the upside of altcoins in July and how June always marks local bottoms. I'm not going to play this video, but I just want to show you the chart here. We really break down this chart and why maybe it's not time to sell your altcoins. So I think we're seeing with the ETH death cross, we're seeing with this altcoin chart right here. And then last night's video, folks, you need to go watch this so you know what the heck I'm talking about. And my picks that what I am actually buying. You also need to look at this. This is NASDAQ. And there's a little correlation between NASDAQ and Bitcoin here. NASDAQ seasonality in July, something else. And so we talk about June as a red month here, you know, especially in altcoins. But with NASDAQ in the tech sector, there is not a month that is more bullish than the month of July. So look at July there. Very, very bullish period there. They say sell in May, walk away. Well, NASDAQ might be sell in June and you'll protect your profit soon. Something like that there. So NASDAQ looking, a lot of things pointing to a July pump. I just want to tell you guys that. And we got another thing pointing at a July pump. And I want you to pump those likes as I'm breaking down the alpha here. Donnie just says, holy. And this is the Vatican's trading account. No, I'm just kidding. All right, this is Total 2 overlaid with coin. And I found something kind of interesting here. And so this is coin is the pink line. Total 2 is going to be all crypto, excluding Bitcoin. So this is the altcoins essentially here. So we're comparing the value of altcoin market, the entire altcoin market, to the value of Coinbase's stock. There's a little correlation here that I found. It seems to me that Coinbase always precedes the move of the altcoin market. And so the big money is buying coin stock as the altcoins start to run. So you can see it ran up right before, right here. So that's March 2024. We're going over a year ago. Then we go back to about 9 months. This is October. This is preceding the Trump pump. Smart money was pumping coin stock before the altcoin started to pump. And you can see the decline, maybe declines around the same time. And then we see the recent pump right here. Altcoins pumped after Coinbase stock pump. So you see the Coinbase stock pumping, Coinbase stock pumping. Look at the Coinbase stock right now. Now, maybe there's new things, with stablecoin regulation. Maybe there's, federal guidelines are changing things. But the things that are changing Coinbase's stock price will affect the altcoin market. And so again, this is predictions. We're making the prediction that this chart shall stay true, shall stay prescient here. And so I think we're going to see an altcoin pump, altcoin surge. I don't know how many details, how many data points I can give you. All I can say is buckle the F up. And I'm sorry if I hit you with the volume spike there. All right, let's look at some more chats here. All right, people love crapping on ADA. We're going to ignore it for now. BlackRock is causing more harm than good. Pedantic says THAN. All right, the new coins are this cycle. The old coins will just keep dumping. Well, TJ's point is the new altcoins is coin stock, is hood stock, is MicroStrategy stock. It's the Wall Street money is kind of what we're going to see the new altcoin pumps. Got that you live in your mom's basement like Alex Becker or all right, yeah, so I'm in a basement. Maybe I'll sleep on a beanbag chair like I'm in the polycule. What of it? All I knew is I need my chicken tendies. All right, meme coins will pass the top 20. Shake up coming in the fall. Pepe, maybe. Doge, of course, is probably going to stay high. And Shiba Inu, I'm still making the prediction Pepe will flip Shiba Inu. Trump kind of stole some of Pepe's thunder, but Pepe's stealing it back as more details of the Trump team comes out. And we got some stuff on that. Don't you worry here. Let's see here. Where's Shiba in all this? Like I just said, I think Pepe will flip it. Do with that what you will there, folks. I think it'll still pump, however. All the whales living their best lives on their yachts. Yeah, you got that right. Unless, well, yeah, I would say. I was going to bring up Jeff Bezos's wedding there. He's like taking over a whole Venice town on his yacht. But let's see here. One more, then we'll get back into the articles. Ever since the Biden market crash, institution investors are now own the market and move the market any way that they want. Some would say probably started before old Joe got in. So this is something going back 100 years or more. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin here. So we get all the signs that altcoins are going to pump. But who has to lead that charge? Bitcoin has to lead that charge. It either leads it by consolidating or by pumping and then dragging the altcoins along with it, dragging it along like Drew drags his kids to every place that he goes. Now, not in a bad way, but he's got 4. Those kids are going to be the future Ninja Warriors of America. I'm saying it right here. Drew, I want to see your kids on Ninja Warrior, like teen. I don't know if there's like any kind of version for kids, but let's get Drew's kids on some of these shows. And then you got Drew, like, training them like a militia in the back. But anyways, Bitcoin illiquid supply climbs to over 14 million Bitcoin. This is reflecting a strong hodl trend. Over 72% is now illiquid. So we got the numbers breaking that down. So the illiquid supply is 14.37 million Bitcoin, jumping from 13.9 just at the start of the year, just 5 months ago here. And so we're seeing a huge increase here. So the current circulating supply standing at, this is how many Bitcoin are out, 19.8 million. That means 72% of all mined Bitcoin is now classified as illiquid. So how do you classify it as that? Well, illiquid refers to the portion of Bitcoin held by entities with minimal spending behavior, such as long-term investors and cold wallet holders. These coins are effectively taken out of the market, reducing the amount available for trading. And there's a metric for this, and it's essentially, if you have an address and it's only Bitcoin in and you're not seeing Bitcoin out, they will count that address as a hodl address. And there's some sort of rules, like it has to be sent from X amount of days and stuff like that. So, but basically the metric shows old hodlers, they're just going to continue to hodl. The new hodl, they're just hodling. More and more people, institutions, BlackRock, They are hodling, folks. So get in on the train here. My 5-year-old is in ninja classes. All right. So I see a collab coming. I like ADA too, but it's not its time. Next cycle will be the old coins. I like that theory. And even Drew said LMFAO, not too far off. So I'm talking about Drew. He's in the blockchain basement. You can see the comment down below. Go check out that show and make sure you're subscribed. We like to talk about crypto, and so they also talk about crypto, but sometimes get a little bit more, let's just say, they agitate the YouTube censors. And so if you like some of that type of knowledge, go check out their show. Great show. All right, let's get back to Bitcoin. Now let's do a price prediction here. The bull flag is hitting at a price boom to 140K. Here's an unrelated photo of a Red Bull. Bitcoin raises bull flag. Okay, so like a Red Bull parachuter. All right, now CoinDesk, that's a stretch. That's why we prefer the drawings of Cointelegraph. But back to CoinDesk here. So Bitcoin's price chart is showing a well-formed bull flag, suggesting a breakout to new all-time highs consistent with some traders' expectations for a rally to $140,000 and higher. So let's talk about the flag. This is the bull flag formation. We've talked about it in a lot of videos. Flag formations occur over a short period, usually a few days to a few weeks. This is according to the person who wrote a book on TA, Technical Analysis, the Complete Resource for Financial Market Technicians. Boy, I bet when he gave that title to his editor, he's like, we got a hit on our hands. Oprah Book Club, here we go. Volume, I should make fun of that guy. I still have my book on the back burner, and I was actually kind of waiting for a more bullish period in the market. I have a finished book. It is Tips of the Wealthy, 50 Secrets to Become Rich. Maybe, change a word there. I didn't maybe say it correctly. It is done, and I'm going to release it on the Cardano blockchain. I put a lot of work into it, many hours. It's not Chat GPT, which I feel bad because I started writing it so long ago. Chat GPT price sucks so bad. You couldn't. I probably could today, but it's all human writing. And it's still there. Don't worry, it's still there. I haven't deleted it accidentally. I didn't tear it up in a drunken rage like some loser author or anything. So it's still coming. Don't you worry. But I found this interesting. I don't even know if I knew this. Volume will also decline throughout the formation of the flag. And if I remember, I just kind of forgot. So if we look right here, maybe I need to zoom in. You can see the volume dropping as the flag formed. And I was going to pull up the volume indicator. I don't feel like messing with all that right now, but let's go ahead and draw out our price prediction for this bull flag pennant breakout. And so you can see, we'll do right there. We got this right here. And then the way you do it, we can go ahead and copy or clone, or I'm clicking the wrong thing. We clone it. I'm not the clone, you're the clone. And then we move it to the breakout. Let's assume it's happening here. And that's giving us, drumroll please, $144,000 Bitcoin. Do these play out? A lot of times they do, folks. A lot of times they do. Let's just see here. Better bull flag. This one was like a hella long flag. We'll just say it kind of broke out there. And I mean, boom, actually even went higher. So sometimes it can go even higher. So we're saying 144. This BI might slap 150, folks. That's all we're saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's talk about fiat. Fiat is fading. Give us one secret. I'm not going to give you the ultimate secret. That is chapter 50. But I like Peter Thiel's secret of investing in natural monopolies. If you invest in natural monopolies or duopolies, you kind of position yourself very well. Examples of those would be Apple and Google with their App Store duopoly. I think Tesla kind of has a monopoly on upcoming humanoid robots and electrical charging systems. And one more monopoly, we'll say Amazon has close enough to a monopoly on online retail. So boom, there you go. And I'll give you one more just because I love talking about this book so much. This is also a good piece of advice. The the nothing from everything investments only happen probably about 5 times per lifetime. You'll see nothing. You fast forward a few years, it's everywhere. So you see none of something, and then everybody has this thing. And if you think back in time, what are some examples of this? The Model T. No one had a car, everybody had a car. If you invested in Ford in like 1910, you probably did pretty good over the next 10 years. Smartphones would be another example. The second you saw Steve Jobs unveil the iPhone, and you said, man, one of these style of phones is going to be in everybody's pocket right now. No one has one in a pocket except for like 4 dorks with a Microsoft phone. If you invested in Apple, the second you saw Steve Jobs unveil that, you probably did pretty good. And home computing could be another one. My upcoming one is going to be driverless taxis and humanoids. So that's why I'm, trying to position myself more into Tesla. All right, there we go, folks. Let's get back to the crypto. But thank you for asking about the book there. I appreciate it there. Costi there. Yeah, the YouTube algo thinks I'm Batman and starts training me to be a ninja, but I wonder if the content is AI made at this point. That's how things be, man. You watch one thing, it'll suck you into an algorithm real quick. All right, let's talk about fiat. Fiat is fading. Fiat is the dollars, the cash, the paper, the doo-doo that you wipe your butt with. Fiat is fading, meaning the value of the paper money is crashing. US dollar is now at its lowest in 3 years. The value of the dollar in your wallet is the lowest value in 3 years, according to the DXY, which compares to a basket of currencies. So the dollar compared to this basket of currencies is the weakest it's been in a long time. So Lynn Alden, very good macroeconomist, economist here, said the US dollar barely got any flight to safety bid despite the recent tensions in the Middle East. And so as Real Vision analyst also Jamie Coote said, fiat is fading. The DXY, which measures the USD strength against the world's major currencies, major Western currencies, is trading at its lowest point since February 22. It's now sitting at 97.50. And so this is very, very good for crypto. Real Vision drew comparison between the current macro environment and the early 2000s, when a weakening dollar led to capital rotation into emerging markets and commodities like Bitcoin, an emerging market, I mean, kind of like the crypto rails. And so as the dollar gets weaker, people are like, well, I don't want to hold this. I'd rather hold something strong like Bitcoin. And so this is going to be good for your crypto as well. All right, now this is a shocking story. Yeah, I threw out the Little John and the East Side Boys reference there. All right, this one is kind of nuts. Now, let's all take a little sip together. My throat's a little parched. I can't pass it to anybody today. 3, 2, 1. Changed my drink. No, I'm just kidding. That was water. Bitcoin Satoshi era miners sold just 150 Bitcoin in 2025 amid all-time highs. So this is shocking news and how small it is. Let's go into the details. Large miners are adding to the reserves, while the oldest participants have slashed sales compared to 2024. So the OG Satoshi whales, the people who had a crappy laptop, a piece of thing that made all the noise when you open it, and you're just like trying to look at your MySpace page, but then you went to your buddy's page and he has like a video playing and a song playing, and it's like all HTML coding, and your laptop's like. So those people who are mining Bitcoin, they turn it on for 10 minutes and they walk away with 50 Bitcoin. These people have slashed their sales compared to last year. So Bitcoin miners, though, tangentially, have added 4,000 Bitcoin to their reserves since April, despite new Bitcoin price all-time highs. I think we got the details here. So miners holding between 100 and 1,000 have upped their reserves by 4,000 to 65,000 Bitcoin. Let me say 1,000 one more time. Since April's local Bitcoin price low, it was like 110,000. It was like 90. Despite high prices, the oldest miners are breaking tradition this year. Instead of selling into the bull market rallies, Satoshi era miners are keeping distribution to a minimum, even compared to 2024. Selling from Satoshi era miners remains at low levels, record low levels. These miners have sold only 150 Bitcoin so far in 2025. 2024, they sold 10,000 Bitcoin. And so we're halfway through the year. So imagine in 2024, they have sold 5,000 Bitcoin. You fast forward to today, they've only sold 150 Bitcoin. This is going to create a major price squeeze. And you look at this strategy, similar Metaplanet, they bought 12,000 Bitcoin this week. There was only 3,000 mined this week. How the F is Bitcoin not $250,000? So not only are they mining 3,100, remember from the article, they're not even selling. They're upping their stack. So yesterday they mined 450 Bitcoin. That doesn't mean 450 Bitcoin hit the market from the miners. It might have actually meant 0 Bitcoin left the market. More realistically, is probably they only sold half. as they slowly up their reserves. You can actually maybe do quick back of the napkin math. Since April's local Bitcoin price lows, let's go to the daily. This is Bitcoin. We're on ETH here, so we're going to go to BTC. April lows. I'm guessing that's right here. April 25. So we measure the days. All right, 80 days. We'll just round up, say 80 days. So in 80 days, they have added to their stack. And in 80 days, they added 4,000. It's 4,000. 80, what's that? 50 a day? 400, 500 a day. 500 a day. That's actually insane. So we're rounding to 500. It probably is close to the 450 they mine a day. So they only mine 450 a day. Now, I'm sure there's some selling and I'm sure there's some buying. That basically means they haven't sold any Bitcoin. So when we're seeing, oh, Wall Street bought 1,000 and they only mined 450, they probably didn't even sell 450. They probably didn't even sell 400. They probably didn't even sell 50. They probably kept 400. So this is huge, huge news leading to a supply shock, folks. All right, now MetaPlanet, they ended up buying another 1, 2, 3, 4. They spent 133 million and they paid 107. Average buying price is still below 100K. Average buying price is 98K. I know Pump, he got some more as well. So a lot of people just pumping up their Bitcoin bags. But Nick Carter, with a very bearish take here, he's kind of talking trash about MetaPlanet, about Michael Saylor, about all these corporations. He said, if you're a VC and the best idea you have is putting the money in a Bitcoin treasury company, you should probably just give the liquidity providers their money back. So he's not so much talking trash about Similar Scientific and MicroStrategy or Strategy, not talking trash about Marathon Digital per se, but people whose best idea in investing is just buy that. You know, kind of talk some trash, and I don't hate the take there. We got some Tesla predictions here. Tesla is going to 4x. We got someone in a 200x long. Let's go. We're still in the 50x. It's technically 47x because it's like a slide bar. So 47x. We're still in the trade. Let's see. Going into cold storage, most likely. Something stinky about YouTube show keeps going bye-bye. So folks, make sure you're following the channel. Make sure you're smashing the like button. And if you don't have the notifications on, you're kind of missing a lot of our uploads. And we've been on point with the uploads. We've been calling the altcoins before they pump. And we've been doing pretty good with our Bitcoin price predictions in the short term here. All right, let's get back to the stories here. Everyone knows Tesla, a meme like Doge. I would say they're battery and charging system and upcoming robot revolution will maybe disagree. Can you check bank? Oh, bonk. I was like, can I check what my bank account? Am I hacked? Bonk right now. I mean, do we long it? Nah, no, that's where you long. Yeah, bonk. It's. I got a bonk prediction here. I think Bonk will see another rally, and the rally will be connected to the new Solana phone. I think once that Solana phone comes out, it'll bring attention to Bonk, and attention means mindshare, and mindshare means money, and it means a pump. So I don't think it's over, but you should have took some profits. Nothing wrong with Diamond Hand. We got in on Bonk super, super early and sold it all super early as well. But we sold it into Solana and Solana Pump, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world. All right, now this is pretty scary stuff, man. We talked about this ATM. This ATM got cut open by the police. Well, we got some more details on some of the victims here. Crypto ATM sting uncovers an elderly widow lost $282,000 in the scam. I'm telling you the story to make sure your family doesn't fall for this. One of the victims was a 77-year-old widow. She was scammed out of 433,000 Aussie bucks. Allows you to buy bloomin' onions. It was $281,000 in an online dating scam. So the 77-year-old is swiping right. What's wrong with me? I don't mean to disparage someone's nice grandmother. Oh, man. So Australian public broadcaster ABC reported the widow was unaware that the Belgian man she'd been dating online for 2 years was a fraud until the police showed up at her door. She said it'd be like a half day's work to send him cash. Just got someone's 77-year-old, like Biden's age grandmother out there, just like trying to straighten out the old $20 bill that's got old Hamilton face, and it's like from freaking 1983, and it's like greasy and oily, and she's just like trying to feed it into the machine. But it gets worse, man. It gets worse. And so this is the warning I got for you folks. So police did charge some people. We suspected that a large volume of the ATM transactions were probably illicit, but disturbingly, our law enforcement team found that almost all of the transactions we referred involve victims rather than criminals. So it's not like if you're at the gas station, you see someone shady using the ATM machine. They're probably, they're probably a victim, not a criminal. Now, I don't know. It depends how shady they are. If they have like the burglar mask and they have a bag over their shoulder and there's a money sign on the bag and they're walking like, that's probably a criminal. Now, one was charged with basically money laundering, while 4 others were issued formal cautions over the suspicion they're using crypto to buy drugs or were acting as money mules for criminals. Now, I don't think that's the case here, right? You imagine you buy a dime bag from Daryl. Dime bag Daryl is where I got that from. If your name is Daryl, I apologize to you. But yeah, you buy a dime bag from Daryl, and Daryl's going to say, oh, yeah, pay me in Bitcoin. Daryl's going to say, here's my address. Daryl's not going to say, yeah, go to the Shell station and feed the money into the Bitcoin ATM. I don't know about that one. That one, may be a little suspicious there. But however, some of the mules were scam victims who either unwittingly assisted criminals or unknowingly transferred funds to get stolen money. The police department said that a few didn't want to admit that the cyber criminals had duped them. Hey, Grandpa, why'd you send $50,000 at ATM? It's an investment, son. Grandpa, you got ripped off, man. That's a well-known pig butchering scam. Grandpa, you just got your money stolen. Nah, this is legit. That's basically what happened. Like the police are there, sir. It was a scam. Nah, man. Nah. She's real. Oh, I feel bad for those people. So be careful, folks. Be careful. All right. Yeah, nice little Pantera reference there. Not Walking Dead reference. Shout out to Daryl in The Walking Dead. Am I too late? ETH Daily is actually Golden Cross. Oh, so good point. We were looking at 2-week candles on the 20 and the 50. So very good point there. That's what, and earlier in the show we covered. This is exactly what I was talking about. There's different levels of golden crosses, death crosses, 21, 50, 20, 50, 50, 200, 50, 100. Days, weeks, 4 hours, 2 weeks, month. And so we were talking about what we saw was there, folks. Yeah, RIP Dimebag Daryl. Might have to start the I Am the Prince in Africa. I can't get my Bitcoins. We checked. Oh no. Well, I do got an Elon video for you. He said he'll send you 2 if you send him 1. All right. So we already covered a little bonk there. Ooh, I had Kelly. Oh, God, I don't want to throw him under the bus here. So me and Kelly did a little double date. I owed him some money. And I said, was it? No, it was Tony. Shout out to Frankie Candles. And it was for a meal. And I said, I prefer he was paying me. I said, I prefer stablecoin. He said, you prefer crypto? I was like, what are you even doing here, Tony? What are you even doing here? All right, it was for a dime bag. I'm joking. All right, let's talk about the Feds. We got updated Fed rate cut probabilities here. So from the Fed Market Watch tool, Fed Watch Market tool, Fed Market Watch tool. It's one of those. Now the probability is up to, I want to say 85.2. So we got a 70% for the 25 and a 14% for the 50. And let's go to Poly Market. This is the one I prefer. Fed decision in July. We're seeing some changes, folks. We're seeing some changes. If we go back a week, 25% decrease was down to 6%. 50 was 1. So this was a 93% chance of no change. Yeah, you can see it right there, 93%. You fast forward to today, mother chucka. We got no change, 76%, 25 now 22, 50 now 1. So the tides are a-shifting, folks. The tides are a-shifting here. Let's see here. What about a dog on Bitcoin? it's hard to interact with because it's on the Bitcoin network, and Bitcoin whales don't care about it. That is the unfortunate thing. Now, I know a lot of people are very bullish on it, and if you jumped in at the bottom, you're up a lot. But if you listen to people 6 months ago, you're down a lot there. Maybe not 6, maybe 12, but yeah, it fell and it fell and it kept on falling. DZ, when is CNT season? Probably coinciding within a 30-day period of the midnight airdrop. When the night token is released, that's when people will start exploring their Cardano ecosystems a little bit harder there. Let's see here. Any thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I just shared that there. When Fartcoin ATMs, boy, oh boy, do we got some Fartcoin memes for you. I should have led with that. We got some of the funniest Fartcoin memes I've seen. I got like 37 of them. And it's related to this story right here. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac to consider crypto for mortgages. It's coming from the FHFA, which stands for Federal Housing Fartcoin Agency. So the FHFA has ordered home mortgage purchasers, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, to consider how to count crypto as assets in their risk assessments for home loans. And so our director, William Polte, he said, prepare a proposal for the consideration of cryptocurrency as an asset. Cryptocurrency, not Bitcoin, as an asset for reserves and the respective single-family mortgage loan risk assessments without conversion of said crypto to US dollars. So when I did a home purchase Q1 22, maybe close Q2 22, I felt the FOMO. Interest rates were going up, like it felt like every day, every week it was going up. You know, I'd put in an offer for a home and they say, yeah, you know, we went with someone who paid cash for the entirety and they paid an extra 25. And I'm like, damn, I just offered an extra 10 or 20 and I'm not paying cash. So, you know, then I'd like try again and be like, oh yeah, well, the interest rates are 0.5% higher now. And you're like, oh, dang it. And so I was trying to hurry. I had to sell my crypto. Now I happen to sell November, December 2021. Perfect time to sell. I caught the top. We were celebrating. Turn it into land that I owe rent to the U.S. government for the rest of my life. But I'm very happy with that. And so this is going to be huge. No longer do people have to sell those cryptos, put cash in the bank to get this loan. Now, they overseen Fannie Mae or the Federal National Mortgage Association and Freddie Mac or the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation since 2008. Both institutions were placed under government conservatorship in the aftermath of the 2008 crisis. These are GSEs, which stands for Government-Sponsored Enterprises, meaning they kind of have to, easiest way I can describe it, they have to open the hood up and ask for permission from the regulators, which everybody, has to open the hood up to attestations and auditing and stuff. But this is just maybe extra rules, and kind of like they can cut open your car seat and start digging for the dime bag, so they can really, really pop open the hood there. I don't know why I keep referencing that. All right. So Polte's letter said they should only consider crypto that can be evidenced and stored on centralized exchanges that are regulated and subject to all applicable laws. So this is not going to count as ETH on your MetaMask, but if you have ETH in Coinbase, then you're going to be good. So bad news for, I guess, self-custody, but we knew the government was going to push this way anyways. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, what are you're going to show them your Arculus and be like, yeah, there's a Bitcoin on there, give me my loan. And then you walk out in the parking lot and you give your Arculus to your buddy, and then he gets a loan. He's like, I too have a Bitcoin. So I totally get it. If your account is on Coinbase, your social security number is tied to it and stuff. So I get it. It makes sense. And so this is going to be a huge, huge win for crypto. This is a little bit hard to describe how big this is going to be. I would say this is very bullish, but there are warnings. I see people saying Fannie Mae needs Fartcoin. Well, people are worried about the next financial collapse because of this. And we're going to get into the memes right after this. Now, as a former mortgage banker, let me be very clear. They issued this directive for those two companies to begin using crypto as an asset in the risk assessments. This is massive. We're talking about the two giants that hold $7 trillion in home loans, now prepping to allow digital assets as reserves. You'll soon be able to use your crypto stack as part of your qualification. No more sell to qualify. No more crypto doesn't count. This opens the floodgates for true adoption. It marks the beginning of a tokenized housing market back. I don't know about that one. This isn't speculation. This isn't hopium. This is policy, and it's effective immediately. But what about the downside risk? You approved the mortgage based on his bag of Fartcoin? Oh man. Gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. If Fartcoin dips below 80 cents, the entire housing market collapses. I already know Jim Cramer's next episode. That's gonna be the Jim Cramer Black Monday. That's the next one. These mortgages are solely collateralized with Fartcoin and SPX 6900. What? Wait, we got more. Loan underwriters of Freddie Mac determining if an unemployed teenager has enough Fartcoin to secure a mortgage. Oh man, gonna happen. It's actually gonna happen. That is actually going to happen, and it's going to be the assassin Ben Affleck. My CPA's reaction when I tell him I use my Fartcoin bag to get my rental property loan. Oh my god. I need to start drinking like it's the 50s. That's what they're going to say. They're collateralizing mortgages with Fartcoin, and you're laughing? And you're laughing? All right. If you liked any of those, smash the like button, folks. I do like throwing in the memes every now and then. I don't know, if you guys just want news, or if you like the little 30-second asides that we like to take every now and then. So let me know in the comments if I should keep these up. But this is major news. I looked up crypto. I think I did like loans or something like that. And I kept seeing Fartcoin memes. So everybody's just going nuts with the Fartcoin memes. All right, now speaking in the political realm here with crypto, Trump backed World Liberty to release a stable coin audit. Okay. That was good. Speaking of fart. All right. Coinbase was bad, but I'm sure Coinbase can pull this off. So yeah, this will be fine. It's a different entity altogether. We're talking about unstable yield versus, just a custody proof of assets there. Didn't Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac ruin the last financial market? That is a loaded question. I don't know if they are the originator of the mortgage-backed securities. I know they're trading in them, but I would like to say the original packager of said securities, I would say, is more at blame. And I'm sorry, it was just so long ago. I don't remember all the players' names there. All right, so World Liberty Fighter released a stablecoin audit, and they're going to make their token transferable for the first time. If you didn't know, you buy it and you're stuck in it. So the crypto venture linked to Donald Trump is preparing to release an audit of its stablecoin and hinted that the token soon to be transferable. Now, the stablecoin recently received its first attestation report from an accounting firm, and the report will be published on the website within the next few days. So that's what we got there. Now, World Liberty Fi is going to be transferable following growing demand from its community. But still, the announcement's receiving mixed reactions about the ability to transfer. Some express excitement about being able to acquire it. Finally, I can buy it as an American that's not a CFA. But translation, this is from Clemente. The team is trying to dump their supply. Not just the team, but retail investors and foreigners. American middle class will jump in and finally to hold the bag as usual. So maybe a little bit of a bearish take. I personally would not make that a long-term hold of mine. If I were to trade in it, it'd be like speculation or something. Now someone would want to buy and check back in 5 years. Now, what is the heck is an attestation report? How is it different from an audit? I just wanted to share this paragraph. Unlike full audits, which evaluate broader financial systems and controls, attestations are narrower in scope. They confirm specific facts, like whether reserve balances match circulating supply. Think of an attestation as a snapshot taken by accountant saying, yes, we've checked, and the money is there right now. The main difference for audits is going to be covers longer periods and multiple systems. So they're actually all right, I'm not just taking a look at your savings account balance. I'm looking at every transfer over the last 90 days. Did you transfer in the money yesterday? Did you transfer the money 5 minutes before I walked into your office? So that's going to be the big difference there. All right. Now, this is people throwing shade at James Wynn. James Wynn is short right now, by the way. Breaking. Iran breaks ceasefire. Missiles headed for Israel. Israel calls for retaliatory action. Bro just got liquidated for $100 million and became a news account. Remember to always take profit. And on that note, we went from 83 to 116. So we're just going to cut and run and take profit. We had a good time with our $50 50X there. All right, now look at this. 98.35% of crypto Twitter are delusionally bullish. I'm adding to my short. This is James Wynn adding to his short. He added to the short just 6 hours ago, 5 from the top of the show. Brother, If you add to your shorts anymore, they'll become trousers. Boom! He just got Gordoned. Altcoin Gordon with the roast there. I just want to share a little joke. The entire world runs on fart coins. Well, cal methane gas is carbon credits now. I don't know. There's something there. I didn't access it though. I doubt they'll accept fart coin, probably Bitcoin and tokenized securities only. It looks like any digital asset. They were clear with, they kept saying crypto assets, digital assets. They weren't saying just Bitcoin. So I think it's just going to be the fiat amount. I think they look at your Coinbase and see 10K fiat amount. All right, that X is 10K. I don't know if they're going to make a distinction. I think they're just going to do snapshots. So if you walk into the office on a Tuesday at 10 a.m., what is it right then and there? If Fartcoin drops 20% the next day, I don't think they're going to call you back. They'd be like, buddy, I knew you had a lot of Fartcoin, and I'm looking at the fart chart. God damn it, I'm about to shart. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, let's talk about the Say pump, everybody. Let me hide that. What is driving the Say pump as the token is soaring 50% in a week here? And so I just want to give you the brief notes on why the heck it pumped, in case you were wondering. So the rally is attributed to Wyoming naming Say as a settlement layer for its dollar stablecoin pilot, a version 2 airdrop snapshot, and an increase from staking. So it's a combination of those three things. More details about the Wyoming Stable Token Commission shortlisted Aptos and Say for its pilot program. Give them a 30-point score based on TPS, transaction per second, fees, and transaction finality there. That's going to be how it, what's the way of saying this? This is how it like proves it on the blockchain there. Some finality times are longer. You need more blocks. Some are going to be instantaneous. Each has its benefits and detractions there. Why the heck did Pi Network spike? Well, this is going to be AI rumors and innuendo. So it surged 38% ahead of an expected announcement involving AI and fueling chatter about a possible partnership with Google. And so that's why one ex-user said the network is rumored to have a deal with Google AI. They suggested that the star seen on a Pi Network announcement at a recent conference may be similar to the Google logo for their artificial intelligence arm. They have different branches within that company, and it might match that logo. So that's why, in case you were wondering there. And we got some good news for Cardano and Litecoin holders. Coinbase bringing wrap Cardano and Litecoin with CBATA and CBLTC. CBATA, CBLTC. Which one do you smoke to get high? Okay, I'm checking. What is up with him? Is he a drug addict? Not anymore. Not since this morning. I don't know why I said that. I do love caffeine. Let's all take a sip of our favorite drug together. Caffeine. Good old hot bean juice for me. And yes, I put meth in there. All right, data is showing 11,000 wrapped Litecoin and about 3 million wrapped data have been minted already, and they're actively circulating, baby. They are actively circulating. They're circulating like Charles Hoskinson's helicopter. What does he have? An Apache? All right, so I went into the details. The article doesn't even say the freaking dollar amounts. Sorry, I'm not. Sorry, my autism is small where I can't just say, 11,000 Litecoin is this much. So I went and I did a little research, folks. So we got the numbers. 11,000 Litecoin. Let me hit refresh. Let's get that fresh. Okay, looks like it didn't really change. $960,000 worth of Litecoin. What about the 3 million ADA? 2.9. That's a million, basically, right under. 2.9 million ADA, 1.6 million. So we're seeing about a 60% increase for Cardano relative to Litecoin. I would still say demand, feels relatively low for both of them. One's a million, one's 1.6 million. So not a whole lot. And one last thing I got for you folks, the Warren Buffett indicator just jumped to 200%, the second most expensive level in history, other than the dot-com bubble and the global financial crisis. So one thing I don't like about this chart. So this is just looking at, I think it's the earning per share profit ratio or something like that, or divided by the market cap. So it's like, I'm drawing a blank on it, but it's basically the multiple of their profits there. So if a stock is worth $10, how much does it take to earn $10 in their earnings, or not their revenue, from their earnings? And so you might need 50 shares to get that back. And so it's going to give you a ratio. So this ratio, if you have insane inflation for a period, your shit's effed here. So excuse my language. So this chart is, not really that valid. This is a great chart if inflation is stagnant. But with the wild fluctuations and the lies from our government, it's just hard to tell. But it is a bearish sign. It is a very, very bearish sign. But we also just had the NASDAQ get a golden cross. We're about to see an AI revolution. So, the truth is no one actually knows. No one actually knows. All right. Yeah, I'm the host, the guest, and the co-host. And I'm in the chat. And I'm in the peanut gallery. And I'm the editor. No, it's Aaron. And I'm the TA. I'm doing all the things, folks. Appreciate it there. Look at the locks that Arrow is offering. Yeah, similar to Hex. So it's like the longer you lock it up, the higher your interest is on your return there. So you're just like, all right, I'm gonna give it to you. You give me 10% rewards, but if you lock it, you get 20% rewards, but you can't touch it for a year. That's essentially how that works. I love the DZ logic. Well, my logic dictates you are smashing the like button as we speak. All you got to do is just move the mouse to the thing, click the button. It really does help us there. If you're watching on X, you want to give us a little retweet, that'd be pretty cool too. Multiple personalities. This just depends on how much hot bean juice the man is drinking there. Let's see. I am on one today. That's every DZ stream, man. I go off the rails, folks. Am I okay? I'm only okay if you hit the like button. So smash that right now. That's all we got for the show. I appreciate you hanging out, Disco fam. As always, it was a real one. That's all we got.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.